spiritual wars that begin everything that American troops have done in Iraq, all the fighting, all the dying, the bleeding, the building, the training, the partnering, all of it has led to this moment of success.
Better than tyranny, corruption, and torture chambers. You deserve to live as free people, and I assure every citizen of Iraq, your nation will soon be free.
Yo, Esau! Yeah, let me holler at you for a second, bro. You remember me? Yeah, when I used to rule the world until you put me in this motherfucking shithole. But it's all good. I forgive you, Esau. But I've been hearing some crazy stuff, man. And you've been polluting the sea. You've been polluting the air. You've been polluting the water. All the animals are crying out against you, Esau. Most High ain't happy with your ass. I just gotta tell you, when I get out of this place, when the Most High come back, I'm gonna chew your ass, Esau. Your ass is gonna be mine. Believe that.
Hello, I am Priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew, and you are watching the Lampshade's current events, end of days. The world is changing, O Israel. Freakish weather conditions, super tornadoes, typhoons, tsunamis, record-breaking flash floods, droughts, famine, pestilence, and hunger. In addition, we face global instability, financial crisis, the fall of the US dollar, civil unrest, a police state, the RFID chip, aka the mark of the beast, leading up to World War III. One world currency, one world religion, one world government, aka the New World Order. And did I mention aliens, bro? The Lampshade's Blood Moon Saga complete series has ended. But it's done. You can go back at any time and watch all 7 seasons. Check out our journey from when we were, coon Christian pastors, and how it's changed to finding out the truth and knowing that we were Israelites from the tribe of Judah, and finding out who the real God was, and is and will always be. And that's Yah and his son, Yeshua HaMashiach. 7 seasons come and gone. But make sure, because you don't know when the internet's going to go down. You don't know when any of the calamities that are coming that will come to pass. Will make viewing the internet, will make viewing websites and things that you are used to seeing online no longer accessible. Hello. Today we're going to talk about 3 topics, bruh. We're going to be talking about some situations and things that are coming out after the C.E.R.N. So we're going to be talking about this military high-ranking official, the female military high-ranking official that was arrested and relieved of her command, apparently because she refused on March, this went down somewhere around March 17th, where she refused, bruh, to push the button. Nuclear strike, preemptive strike against Russia. She refused to do it to relay the codes in a chain of events that would have led us to all-out nuclear war. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Monica Lewinsky coming back out. There's news about her on the 20th where she is trying to spearhead public debate and conversation on cyberbullying, and basically trying to change the narrative, her personal narrative. Does this have anything to do with the fact that in 2016 we're most likely going to see Hillary Clinton running for president? Definitely may have something to do with that, so we'll go over that. And then we'll get to our top story, which is C.E.R.N. And dealing with the upcoming blood moon that will be the first blood moon to be activated or during the time of the activation of C.E.R.N. So this will be the first blood moon while C.E.R.N. is actively being turned on, so we're sure to see some interesting things when it comes to that. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go ahead and start with Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky did a viewing, a talking where she basically went over cyberbullying, and she went over the story of that faggot guy, bruh, who was doing his faggot sex bullshit, and his roommate had a camera set up, caught the video and put it online, and then this mentally weak individual jumps off of a bridge or something to his death. I guess nobody told him when that type of lifestyle had a certain amount of shame associated with it, or embarrassment at least. I mean, it wasn't like he was those flaming faggots that were doing the rainbow parade and all that kind of shit that were putting their stank out there. Obviously, it was an in the closet fag who wanted to, or try to make it seem as if he was normal or regular or whatever, everything else but being a faggot. And I guess the truth coming out about him made him want to kill himself. And so so she was saying about that, and then she was talking about minorities. I just love it how Esau, Edomites, always try to throw in everybody else's story and tries to utilize their story to propagate their bullshit. Because her whole cyberbullying stuff was just bullshit. She's talking about pain and sorrow and embarrassment. Ain't nobody want to talk about the embarrassment, the sorrow, and the shame that the so-called Negroes faced during slavery, when the motherfucker Edomites were raping, killing, castrating our fathers, raping our little brothers, little boys, and the women. Ain't nobody want to talk about the shame and the sorrow and the embarrassment, motherfucker living on a plantation where everybody on a motherfucking plantation know you just got raped. Everybody on a plantation know that your kids just got taken and sold off to another plantation. You know, anyone want to talk about the shame and the embarrassment of being, you know, historically known all around the fucking world as descendants of slaves and still in captivity in this motherfucking America? Anyone want to talk about that? But you see these Edomites, these self-proclaimed white people, you know, parading around talking about cyberbullying. But yet when online you're seeing all these motherfucker Nazi bitch motherfuckers, crazy ass Esau, you know, when you're going to these sites looking at the Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, you know, the 12-year-old boy who gets shot in the stomach by these racist Edomite pig cops. And you're hearing all these comments about them being niggers and all these comments about, you know, them being thugs and somehow they deserve it because they was nothing but fucking thugs. And yet, no one calls that cyberbullying. No one calls that or recognizes that as causing pain and suffering and embarrassment and making the victim into, you know, into a joke. It's funny how the Edomites can only see these things in their little fuckhead prism when it deals with themselves, when it deals with white America, you know, when it deals with white people. But they can give a fuck about what happens to anybody else. Just their selfish need to try to have everybody else's story wrapped into under their control and being utilized for their benefit. But they didn't go with their benefit. Fuck it. So this fucking Edomite bitch is over here telling everybody about cyberbullying. Of course, ignoring all the shit that, you know, they do in terms of their white privilege and, you know, their privileged status here in America and all the pain and suffering they cause here in America and all around the world, but specifically to the so-called Negroes, you know, the descendants of slaves, the Jews of Scripture. And she ain't talking about that. But that she still wants to try to, you know, link the gay agenda and link minorities all under the milk of, you know, their motherfucking Edomite, you know, white devil asses. As if we want anything to do with the fucking gay movement. Fuck that motherfucking faggot. You give a fuck about him. They were fucking faggots when they were raping little boys in slavery. That was some faggoty shit. Those motherfucking white Christian devils were bisexual at the very least, because they was, you know, fucking their wives and still fucking the little boys as well. Raping little boys, call them bed warmers. As if we're not supposed to know this shit. As if that history is supposed to be so well hidden that ain't nobody ever gonna figure it or find it out. So for the white man or the white bitch to come out and try to be the moral compass or the champion of people's rights and the champion of you know, pain and doom and gloom, you know, fighting against cyberbullying is fucking bullshit. And you'd be a damn fool to believe it or to try to rally behind these motherfucking hypocrites. Only reason why they even think that they could get away with such bullshit is because they got a fake faggoty ass white Jesus lie that tries to make people believe that they are the seed of the Most High, when in reality they're the seed of the motherfucking devil. And if you knew they're the seed of the motherfucking devil, you wouldn't trust or follow anything these motherfucking heathens have to say. But now you also want to come out and say that she wasn't doing this for any other particular reason. Yeah, right. Bitch, we know your fucking white ass is going broke and you gotta go out there and make your money. You talk about cyberbullying and all this other kind of bullshit and how you had no words for when they did it to you, but you didn't say nothing about the fact that you were a fucking homewrecker, that you were going after a fucking married person's, you know, a married woman's husband. You don't say shit about the fact that, you know, you wasn't his second wife, you wasn't his concubine, you was his fucking booty call, bitch. You was a fucking booty call. And you want to make that shit respectable? You want to, you know, because you want to say that it's unfounded that somebody calls you a slut? Nigga, that motherfucker wasn't, I mean, You wasn't interested in him because he was just so fucking handsome and so fucking dashing, man. That motherfucker was already a fucking damn near senior citizen. You know, but he was the president. He had power, and you know, and you was smitten by the Oval Office. But yet you want to come out and saying that people who mention the truth of what you did and how you conducted yourself was somehow bullying you. Yeah, right, bitch. You motherfucking white devils will do anything for a fucking buck. And the whole room was filled with a bunch of white devils sitting there. There wasn't even a picture of a fucking bitch crying over this fucking bullshit. Bullshit. People out there really starving, really hurting, really losing their job, losing their homes, really, you know, having a tough time during this recession. And all they gotta look forward to is for shit to get absolutely worse. And your ass is actually making a killing, starting the conversation talking about how you banged the president. And yet, for someone to call you a slut, oh, they're just bullying you. When if you didn't want that to define your fucking life, you wouldn't bring it up at the beginning of every fucking conversation. Because you know what, bitch? If you hadn't said that you were, you know, Monica Lewinsky, if you hadn't said that you fucked the president, I wouldn't have known who the fuck you were. You would have just been another fucking, you know, skinny ass white bitch to me. To anybody else who's watching it, to anybody else, you know, who ain't a fucking coon and don't fucking starstruck over every motherfucking thing you motherfucking white devils do. That's just me though. But anyway, nonetheless, enough about Monica Lewinsky. That fucking bitch is old news. But the only reason she's even trying to come out now because, you know, Bill Clinton's wife is going to probably run in 2016. So, of course, the Republicans need their anti-Hillary. They need their, you know, they need her kryptonite. I mean, hey, she took down Bill Clinton, bruh. She could take down Bill Clinton, you know, even if it was the end of his presidency and even if he, by that time, pretty much didn't really give a shit. But yeah, maybe if they start early enough, people will be talking about Monica Lewinsky and how Hillary Clinton basically couldn't keep her own husband happy, and so he was philandering his ass all around the country. Maybe they'll be talking about that rather than looking at her as a political, you know, possible presidential figure. But hey, like we give a fuck here in Israel. But that's predominantly the reason why they're doing that. You know. Now, moving on though, however, this one of our more pressing reports is on this military high-ranking official who was in a chain of events and a correlated effort with other nations to do a preemptive nuclear strike on Russia up and around March 17th, who refused to transfer military codes for the launching of nukes at a critical junction, which ultimately made the whole operation fail. This is reminiscent of D-Day, where Hitler was asleep at the wheel. In the thought of this, of course, Putin would be considered the Hitler who was, and not to say that he's Hitler in terms of his ideology, not to say that he's Hitler in terms of you know, his plans or anything of that nature, but just to say that he plays a part of Hitler in terms of the fact that he was missing or unaccounted for or unaware during the period of time where Allied forces, America, is deciding that the perfect opportunity to strike, much like they did with the D-Day, and how Hitler reportedly was unavailable to be able to give the order for a response. So clearly, this, him being missing for a while and whatever whatnot, was clearly the opportunity, if you look at it from that prism, as a chance for them to have a type of success, only because the major dictator that would be the one that had the codes to launch a counterstrike was unavailable. All right, so just to clear up the people who are still watching this budding news cycle and not quite understanding why the timing for this nuclear strike was so very important. Also, it's already being reported in alternative media that, you know, that this situation was also reminiscent of the Cuban Missile Crisis, when one of the Russian generals refused to launch nuclear weapons at America, even under orders, because of course the response would have been a full-blown nuclear exchange, And it wouldn't have been a limited nuclear exchange. It would have been a full-blown nuclear exchange, which would have involved NATO, the UN, Russia, America, China, North Korea, and everyone that has a vested interest in this budding conflict would have dropped their payloads, which would have definitely ended in the annihilation or close to annihilation, extinct type annihilation of the human fucking race, bro. So, you know, she didn't do it. I guess she wasn't Illuminati prepped enough. She wasn't ready enough. She wasn't blood drunk enough, this Edomite devil, in order to push that button. She said no. But in reality, you can't give her really the credit, because really the credit comes from the Most High, Yah. Because the Most High, Yah, ain't signed off on the world getting a major decrease of the population to near extinction levels. He ain't signed off on that yet. So you got these motherfucking devils trying to jump the gun, because again, we've been reporting this whole period of time that with the planet Nibiru being in circulation around the sun, in orbit around the sun, and with Fukushima, which was the beginning of sorrows, and with the fall of the dollar that's imminent, with World War III is right around the corner, that all these things were hailing, or shall I say, harboring the arrival of Yah, the condition of the earth upon his coming forth. So, you know, it's not in his plans that World War III would kick off on March 17th. And because it wasn't in his plans, because it's not in his architect that would be the case, he again steadied the waters and held back the forces of evil, the forces of interdimensional beings, the forces of these devils, and what they want, which is really the bringing down of the human influence on this planet. You know, so it's as it is more able for them to take control and maintain a one world government, which would, at this point, with a 7 billion somebody population of people on the planet, would be nigh impossible to do. All right, so that's what's going on when it comes to the report that we're hearing on the possible nuclear detonation. And you know, some interesting extra news to this stuff that's happening at the CERN. On the 28th of March, or 27th or so, a giant meteor actually came near the Earth, and there were a few scientists who actually believed that maybe it could have hit the Earth. Ultimately, it didn't. They were talking on the mainstream that it was really not going to hit the Earth, but then again, you never can trust everything that these scientists are saying. Heck, if it was, the last thing they would do is tell the population, because they want to maintain control to the very last second. But again, the scientists aren't responsible for the asteroid not hitting the Earth. The only one responsible for the asteroid, as well as World War III not kicking off on the 17th, is Yah. Worldwide extinctionary, catastrophe isn't in the cards yet, because Yah is returning, and those things will happen after the second exodus of the Israelites, the second exodus from America of the so-called Negroes, the so-called descendants of slaves, the Jews of Scripture. So those other things will happen after we leave. Now, I want it also to be said that the timing for this exodus is on the Most High Yah's shoulders. He's the one that put the blood moons in the sky. He's the one that is reaching out to Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. He's the one. And ultimately, he can choose to have us still be here. There were people of God who danced in the flames, who were thrown into furnaces and not burned. They were thrown into lion dens and not devoured by the lions. The lions had no teeth, no claws when it came to Yah's children. So it's possible he could have this country nuked and have us dancing in the flames if he wanted to. So it's really on the Most High. All right, bro. It's on the Most High, and whatever He chooses. If He chooses that we be here, then praise be to Yah, we'll be here, still waiting on Him to the very last second, even past the very last second. Also want to talk about, but we're going to talk about it, more as we get closer, is the blood moon. This blood moon coming on around about the 4th of April is going to be the first blood moon that we have or will see after C.E.R.N being turned on. The first one of the blood moons that are actually going to be showing during the running of C.E.R.N. So expect to see something, something on that day. Expect to have O Israel, expect to see a kind of escalation in all the things that we've been talking about already: crime, violence, threats of war, famine, and all the other kind of things. Because with C.E.R.N as a magnifier and the gateway to hell being run, you never know what to expect. Of course, you have to have eyes that can see in order to notice, and keep it tuned on this channel. To make sure that you keep abreast with all the latest news coming out and all the up-to-date Israelite Jew opinion on what's going on in this world, and the peeling away of layer after layer after layer, bruh, of deception, from these devils, as we translate the scriptures and translate what you're seeing in the media and in the alternative media, so you can get a better understanding of what the truth is. Okay, so make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to share these links so that the truth gets out. The only thing that can destroy the lies is the truth. The only thing that can prepare the people is knowledge that comes from a position of truth. Because without truth at the base of your understanding, everything that you have, that you get, that you calculate after is false. If the baseline isn't based on truth, then all your assertions are bullshit. Alright, so make sure you stay tuned here for the truth, to be able to base your understanding of what's going on in the world on sound, solid, biblical ground. Alright, also want to make sure that our watcher and viewers out there, that Mirror Images 3, we're working on it right now. If you haven't watched Mirror Images 2, Sakuma the Destroyer, it's available on our webpage. Just go to our productions portion of the webpage and look for it there. All of our videos and movies that we make are part of the productions portion. If you haven't seen Mirror Images number 1, make sure you watch that first. But if you have seen Mirror Images number 1, make sure you watch Mirror Image number 2. Mirror Image number 3 will be out in the next coming weeks. Alright? Thank you, each and every one of you, for your continued your continued support in watching our videos, your continued support in understanding this truth and getting this truth out to as many people as possible. Is because of each and every one of you, and the Most High mostly, that this truth is available, for your viewing consumption. Thank you.
Are you ready, O Israel, for the end of days? Planet Nibiru, polar shifts, gigantic meteorites the size of cities hitting the earth? You better have your Yahshua HaMashiach seatbelt on, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Lampshades Ministry is an Israelite ministry from the house of Judah, and we do not accept tithes and offerings of money. The word of God is for free and not for sale, bruh, at any price. I'm your host, priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew. Join us next time if you're still breathing and one of these worldwide calamities haven't ghosted your ass. This is the Lampshades, current events, end of days. Shalom, bruh. Wake up,
So-called African Americans, black Americans, let me tell you the truth. Liberty or a noose, the choice of a Jew. You're a Hebrew, brother, you're a Hebrew. Your story don't begin in America for forever, cuz you were born as a Jew, made a slave in Egypt and all around the world. You're a Hebrew, brother, you're a Hebrew. 400 years of captivity, the facts don't lie. You can bury the truth, but the truth won't die. You can stain it on glass, won't change the facts. That our Lord Jesus Christ is black. You can rewrite the past, that don't really fly. You can remake a movie, you can try and deny. You can paint him white on the cross, can't change the facts. Lord Jesus is black. The greatest deception was turning day to night. Is to say black Jesus is why. Nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop. God created man in his very own image. What the Father has begun, the Son will finish. The people of God spoke Hebrew, not Yiddish. What the white man destroyed, the Lord will finish. The people of God has the mark of the Lord, identifying factors that no one can ignore. Feet of bronze, hair of wool, and among the poor, Jesus Christ was a black man waiting at the front door, screaming, let me in. If you do, I will dwell in you. Wash your feet, make your heart brand new. Let me in, I will take away your sin. I will love you like my kin. Don't reject the Hebrew skin. Let me in. The true Hebrews were meant to be a blessing to the nations, but their heritage was erased during slavery, and they were replaced by fake Jews. Deuteronomy 28 tells the story. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop. Yeah, man, you gotta know your Bible, man. Revelations chapter 2, verse 9, and Revelation chapter 3, verse 9 speak of the true Jews. We the true Jews, you the fake nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop.